Hey everyone, I just got these today in the mail. They are the German version of the Grand Lenormand, originally produced by Grimaud. So I don't know who produced these. All I know is that they're from Germany. They're from around 1896, although I'm not positive on that date. But looking at the backs, the plain backs, they are definitely, I feel, from the 1800s. They were advertised as antique, and so that means they're definitely over 100 years old. Um, the the person who I won them from, like the eBay person, they didn't know too much about this deck. They had gotten it from a hoarder in California. So, from my understanding, the house was, taken over by the city from this hoarder, and they ended up, I guess, managing to get a whole bunch of goodies from this house. And this was one of them. So I saw this on eBay and I was like, oh my goodness, I know what that is. Because, like, I don't think a lot of people would recognize this deck for what it is. Because a lot of people in the English world don't actually know about the Grand Lenormand, the Grand Jeu Lenormand, or Astro mythological Lenormand. So I saw these and I thought they were just like some obscure fortune telling cards. Then I looked closely and I was like, oh my goodness, they are like a variation of the Grand Jeu. So I waited till the last day to place the bid because, I guess that's the smart thing to do is I guess that's considered sniping, but I didn't want to drive up the bidding price too early on, so I waited till like the last day, the last minute pretty much to place a bid. And it became a bidding war in the last seconds. And I was sweating. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I need this deck. This deck belongs to me because who else would understand or appreciate it, right? Although I don't know for sure. Maybe the other person or the other people who I were bidding against, maybe they did know what this deck really was. But I ended up winning it and I got it for under 200 Canadian dollars. So that's, to me, for this age and this caliber of deck, that's a pretty good price, even though I don't have a box for it. So, there's no instructions. Some of the cards are bent. Um, they look very, very vintagey with the tea stain, which is very cool. I like that actually. I like the vintage look. And they actually make modern tarot decks, even though this isn't a tarot deck, but I'm just going to show you. This is a brand new Low Scarabeo Rider-Waite deck. And it's basically, the cards are glossy and everything. These cards are not glossy, but it's basically a very new deck that looks like a very old deck, right? So that's totally an in thing right now. I actually love vintage, muted colors and old looking decks. But anyways, this is authentically vintage or antique, you could say, right? It is just so gorgeous. And I'm going to do a proper flip through and side-by-side comparison of this deck with the Grand Jeu Lenormand to show you how identical these cards are. There's a lot of differences though. For example, these ones don't have the constellations. The geomantic symbols are very different. They are not consistent with the original French deck. I'll do the side-by-side comparison and show you. And the main image is on the bottom, whereas on the French deck, the main image is on the top. Again, this is my photocopied version. I minimized the Grand Jeu, which is a rather large deck. I photocopied it and I reduced the size onto a playing card deck just for my personal, I have small hands and I was learning, so I wrote all over it. So this isn't an original deck, but I do have the original deck. But you get the picture. So the main image is on the bottom here, and the little images, the side images, which are usually opposite meanings of each other, they are on the top, and the floral emblem is on the top as well. So that's the big difference. And then there's variations in the artwork. So instead of Greek mythology or Roman mythology, you will have more of a modern for 1800s rather, interpretation. Like this, for example, is in the Grand Jeu, it is the Trojan horse entering the gates of Troy. And here we have two men and a bridge. So, yeah, it's going to take me a while to get used to this deck, but I already took it for a test drive. I did a reading, and it was very accurate. So I'm really excited about this deck. This is my oldest, most antique deck so far. Before this, my oldest deck was from I think it was 1904. Yes, I have, and I believe it's an American deck that's from 1904. So this is older. This is, I believe, from 1896. At first I thought it might be from the 1850s because the Germans started doing their own variation of the Grand Jeu in 1850. I want to say 1853, but I talked to someone who is very well experienced in the German cartomancy world, and Andreas Nostradam. If you guys know the Grand Jeu, you probably know about him. He has a course, an online course. Anyways, he said that these are most likely from 1896. So I will definitely do a video, a side-by-side comparison. I just wanted to share with you my newfound treasure. I just got it today. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.